So I said the last video would be the last video of tonight, and that one. At least this one. The reality is, of course, yeah. The truth is, and reality is I think this is an absolute certainty. Until the understanding in the people change from it being about serving the community to it being about serving the kingdom, we won't see any serious change within the church. None at all. No. We will see no serious change because the reason why the church is as it is because of who they're serving and the outlook and the intent. So if you understand you're supposed to be serving the kingdom, then that changes everything. Changes what you do. The whole church setup would change. Absolutely. The reason why churches like the Vineyard have all ages welcome sort of church right now is not financially. It's not because they can't afford to make a room suitable to have a children's ministry. You should never have a children's ministry. But it's because they believe their job is to serve the community. If they understood their job is to serve the kingdom, they would have gone to God. They wouldn't have moved on any of that until God had told them. They would understand that what you do is, you've got church members, okay? When you start up a church, you've got church members. So what you're going to do with church members is, you're going to, understand. You get your prayer warriors, you get them, those people that pray and can hear God, you get them to go to God about what do we do with this? What do we do with that? So what do we do? If you're starting a church, what do we do about worship? Because we recently heard there in that church that initially they had no worship leaders. Yeah, they just did the best they could with what they had. Right? Okay. Now they've got 3 sets of worship leaders now. So that's good. Okay, cool. Right. But what you do initially, you go to God and you say to God, okay, you get your prayer people, the people that can hear God. What should we do right now about worship? Should we just put on worship CDs? Should we go on YouTube and get some worship songs on there? What do we do? Yeah. Well, again, I would say you get the people that can hear from God to go to God first of all and say, what are the questions we should be asking right now? Because again, what's more important about worship? Understanding what's the purpose of worship. What is worship all about? Is it about a group of people singing in unity songs about God? Or is it about helping people to love God in a greater way? And, because worship must be about love. So therefore, it's about loving God, isn't it, really? So therefore, okay. If it's about loving God, then you understand there's other ways other than worship that you can do that. And so therefore, it changes the question, doesn't it? So with all things, if you're kingdom-led, you go to God and you say, okay, what are the questions we should be asking right now? And we need you to lead us and guide us in all these things as we start. Read the most important questions to be asked and answered. So would you lead us in that? And God's going to do that because he wants to bless you. For goodness sake, when most churches won't go to God, won't be led by God, if you have the guts to be led by God, he's gonna answer. Of course he is. Oh yeah. Now there are going to be some times when he is going to test you and he's not going to answer for a bit. He's going to test how you react, how you respond to that. And that's okay. That's okay. It's all about building you as a person, building your character, building your faith, your knowledge, your understanding, your wisdom. But yeah, yes, you have to change it. You have to, get that point changed in church that you can't do that. I know that it's highly unlikely that I will ever be invited to have a meal with the pastor and his wife and their family. And the reason why is because if we have a sit down afterwards with a glass of wine or something, he knows that I'm not going to muck around because it's not in my nature to do so. He knows that. He knows already I brought up subjects with him and with his wife that most people in the church wouldn't dare to bring up. And for me, it's not a case where I dare to bring it up. It's just a case where it's just natural. I just talk about what I see, what God shows me to talk about. And so, he knows that, but that's what's needed. In order to change the outlook, you've got to speak to the people in charge and be led by God in doing that. And very much, if I ever was invited to a lunch with them or a meal with them, I would very much have to be spending time with God beforehand and just saying, Father, don't let me get in the way here. Because, oh my God, can I? Could I get in the way? Yeah. Could I try and share everything you've given to me in the space of 5 minutes? Yeah. But what I'd have to do is not say too much, but be God-led. And again, it's a case of talk about the way that they do things and what they do and what that means spiritually. But do that gently so they don't feel attacked. Well, again, maybe sometimes it's right for them to feel attacked to show what's in them. But yeah, you go into it again with no intent to offend, but with no desire or attempt to not offend. Just okay, Father, you lead. Simple as that. But that's the only way that that's going to change, is if the people in charge of the churches understand that they're supposed to be serving the kingdom. They can best serve the community by serving the kingdom. If they can understand that, then you'll start to see a change. But until they see that, you won't see change.